What's up everybody? I hope y'all are all doing well. My name's Anthony. On today's video we're going to talk about more forgotten medicine. This time it's going to be on cleavers. So stay tuned. That's right, today we're going to talk all about cleavers, or the Latin name Galium aparine. I'll put that down here so you can read it. This is also known as bedgrass, goosegrass, and if you're from Scotland, sticky willy. Now, in order to make sure that I stay on topic, I'm going to talk about 5 particular subjects. Number 1, what exactly is it? Number 2, where is it located? Number 3, how do I identify it? Number 4, is it edible? And number 5, the medicinal uses. Alright, so number 1, what exactly is it? Well, it's an annual herbaceous plant in the Rosaceae family. Now, I know some of y'all are probably like, the Rosaceae family, what exactly is that entailing? Well, you've probably heard of it before because over 200 million Americans actually use plants from the Rosaceae family daily. Another plant that's happened to be in this family is coffee. So yes, cleavers are related to coffee because it comes from the same family of plants. Alright, so number 2, where is it located? Luckily for us, it is not just located in the same areas as coffee. It can survive being in the cold. It actually likes being cold because it pops up in the early spring, so you will definitely find this basically everywhere. It is natural to places like North Africa, Europe, Eastern Asia, but it's become naturalized everywhere because it sticks to everyone. So the seeds carry literally everywhere. So you will find it in North America, South America, Asia, East Asia, West Asia, even Australia. It is literally everywhere. Now, if you happen to think that you have seen cleavers somewhere around your property, you want to make sure you're paying attention to places that happen to get a little bit more sun and they are disturbed. Cleavers like to pop up where people actually move around, so you're probably not going to find them in the woods where nobody walks. You're most likely going to find them on trails or in yards. For me personally, I find them in my yard, really close to my front door. Okay, so number 3, how do I identify to make sure I have the right plant? Well, there's 2 main tells for me that tell me I have cleavers. Number 1, it pops up in the very late winter, early spring. Okay, if it pops up in the fall, you probably don't have cleavers because this is a very early plant. Okay, it's one of the first ones that pops out of the ground in the springtime, so you definitely want to make sure you have the right time of year. And secondly, it's called cleavers for a reason because these things have tiny little hairs on the stems and leaves that make sure that they will cleave to your clothing. You want to see what I'm talking about? Check that out. This stuff literally sticks to you. So when I say cleavers, that's what I'm talking about. Cleaves to the clothing so you can't get it off without actually pulling it. For a more up close view, I'm going to show you what it looks like on the ground. This is what the cleavers look like on my property. You are going to find them most likely intermixed with a whole bunch of dead nettle or other early spring weeds. They can be very long, so when you pull them up, be prepared for them to be longer than you anticipate. The stem is going to be squared off, much like a lot of mints are, and the leaves come directly out of the stem in a pair of 6 to 8 lancelet leaves. It is also going to be very hairy. As you can see here, the leaves and stem both have those tiny little hairs. That's what makes it stick to you. Now, number 4, the edibility. Is this thing edible? Can I eat this? Yes, you very well can eat this. This is treated like a tender green plant. You want to make sure you get it while it's small because just like any green plant that you might eat, any of the greens, you're going to want to eat it when it's young. The older it gets, the tougher it's going to be. So you want to make sure you pick the younger, more tender shoots. You can cook them. Much like stinging nettles, the cooking process takes these little hairs and makes them so they're not as pronounced, all right? So you're actually going to be able to eat it a little bit easier. So you can make them just like you would stinging nettles, boil them in some hot water, and eat them like greens. Now, another thing I wanted to make sure I add, I haven't actually tried this, so I'm going to say that first. You can also use this plant as a coffee substitute. Yes, there's a reason why it's in the coffee family, like I said earlier, because the seeds can be used much like you would use coffee beans. You can take the seeds from the plant. I don't have any seeds yet because these just started popping up last week. You take the seeds and you roast them, grind them, and treat them just like you would coffee beans. You can make a coffee substitute. And yes, they have trace amounts of caffeine. Not a lot, but they do have trace amounts. So you can use it as coffee. I don't actually drink coffee, hence why I have never tried this, but a lot of people in the UK do this, so I know it's a thing. And don't worry, it's not just human edible, you can also feed it to livestock. There's a reason why it's called goosegrass, or some people call it goosegrass, because poultry, geese in particular, love to eat it. Chickens eat it, I feed it to my chickens all the time. When I let the chickens free range, guess where they usually go to first in the early spring? They go right to the goosegrass or cleavers because it is very good for them. It's a good source of minerals for them, so they love to eat it as well. All right, and finally, I'm going to talk about the medicinal aspects of it because we're talking about forgotten medicine. So I wanted to go ahead and mention the fact that yes, this is thought first and foremost as medicine because cleavers are traditionally used as a cleanser. It is a purifying herb. Now, when I say this stuff, I'm talking about the traditional uses, okay? Traditional uses meaning for the last hundreds, if not thousands of years, okay? I'm not a doctor. I'm not trying to tell you that I am a doctor. I'm just giving you the traditional uses of this because if you want to use it in the same way, hey, go for it. You're an adult. You can do whatever you want to do. But back in the day, for a very long time, they used this as a cleansing herb because it is also one of those things that's very powerful for the lymphatic system. As some of you may know, the lymphatic system is in charge of basically regulating the fluids in the body, meaning that it's going to make sure that you are moving toxins out of the bloodstream to the urine system to get rid of it, to expel it from your body. So if you're using this, Cleavers, as a way to help your system, it's going to help get rid of a lot of things from your body, things that may be holding on to, some stagnation, and you're going to be able to get it out, and congratulations, you're going to feel better. Now, so at this point, I'm going to talk about a subject that a lot of people don't like to mention. I don't really like to mention it on my channel, but there is a religious factor here as well. I'm not necessarily going to talk about a certain specific religion. I'm more or less talking about the lens of a creator or mother nature. Whatever you happen to believe, if you happen to believe in a Christian God, Muslim God, whatever kind of God, you happen to believe most likely that there is a creator, okay? Someone who created everything. Well, there is a purpose for everything in life, and if you pay attention to things around you, Mother Nature, if you happen to just be, all about Mother Nature, that's fine. There is a method to the madness in terms of nature. Now, over the winter time, humans especially, stay indoors a lot more. They don't really get a lot of sunlight. They don't exercise a lot. You're basically stuck inside eating things that you've stored away. So the fresh nutrients and vitamin aspect of your food isn't really amazing, let's just say that. So over the course of wintertime, your body's probably holding on to a lot more toxins and things, and your lymphatic system is probably a little bit more sluggish than it normally would be. So when wintertime is finally over with, you're going to see Mother Nature throw you a bone, and it's going to give you one of the most amazing plants to get that lymphatic system moving in the form of cleavers. If you know how to use it, you can use it almost immediately to help get your fluids moving in your body, to help you get rid of that winter waste, and congratulations, you are going to be functioning and feeling normal again when springtime comes and the work starts. And because this is very good for the lymphatic system, it is also going to be classified more or less as a diuretic, meaning it's going to help your body excrete more fluids throughout your urinary tract system. So whenever that happens, if you happen to have things like kidney stones, maybe an infection, bladder infection, that kind of thing, it can help move that out of your system as well. And if you have even issues with like blood pressure, because when you're on high blood pressure medicine, usually they give you diuretics because diuretics can help, if you can get rid of that water retention in your body, it can help lower your blood pressure. It's part of any regimen in terms of high blood pressure. So if you have that issue, you can also look into this because it is a diuretic, just like dandelion root is, or dandelion leaves. So you can use that as well for the same purpose, but it's very good for your lymphatic system and your urinary system. So the two best ways to actually use this medicinally are going to be in the form of an infusion and in the form of a tincture. I've showed you how to make tinctures last like 3 videos, so if you want to have a refresher on that, I'll put one of those videos up here so you can see exactly how to make a tincture. But you can also use this as an infusion, which is what I would normally use it as, or a tea. Personally, I think it's easier just to make a tea, and it's actually better for you in the green form. If you have to dry this up for later usage in the fall, winter time, then absolutely do so. But the fresher you can get this stuff and make it into a tea, the better it's going to be for you and the quicker your body can use it. In order to make a tea or infusion with cleavers, it's super easy. Make sure you rinse them off because there will be bugs hiding in there. Trust me. You're going to stuff them into your favorite mug. Obviously, I'm a comic book fan, and you are going to pour hot water over top. Now, however long it takes you to have that water cool down enough for you to drink it is however long I steep it, usually between 5, 8, 10 minutes, depending on how hot the water was. And then, boom, go ahead and drink it. Tastes just like normal water. Can't really tell you drink anything. It's definitely not like wormwood. It's not bitter at all. Tastes just like water. No reason not to try it. Before I end the video, I want to make sure that I mention I am not a doctor. I'm not your doctor. I got a lot of my information from this book right here because this lady right here is a doctor of this kind of stuff, and she wrote a very fantastic book detailing this. So if you want to check it out, it's called The Herbal Apothecary by Dr. J.J. Purcell. She talks about on page 91, she talks all about Cleavers. So this is a plant that I've seen on my property ever since I moved here, and it's one of those ones that I considered a weed when I first moved here, before I knew about what actually I was looking at. And I'm sure a lot of y'all out there consider this stuff a weed as well. I don't want you to think that way. I want you to think of things as a gift. Okay, so I want you to find uses for everything around your property, and everything does have a use if you just pay attention to it. So since cleavers pop up a lot all over the property for the last couple of years, what I've been doing is I've been feeding them to my chickens because they like it so much. But even then, since they do happen to be so prevalent, especially in March and April, I wanted to try to figure out a way to use it for my advantage. And once I found this, I was like, oh wow, ting, this is a medicine and I can use it as a medicine. So that is my video on cleavers. I hope you learned something. If you did, please do me a humongous favor and give this video a thumbs up, share it with somebody who think it might help, subscribe to my channel if you are not, and I will catch y'all on the next one, all right?